Welcome back to the Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything between in the wide world of Warhammer. We are here, of course, to talk about the thing everyone wants to talk about, which is 10th edition! Yeah. Today, specifically, our favorite faction focuses that have been revealed thus far. Of course, just a glimpse into the armies, but we're going to talk about what we think about them. And of course, if you have any questions, let us know. You can go ahead and submit them in Super Chats here. We'll also do any list design, all that stuff. We're just coming off of our Thursday night show, so we have some cool questions from there that we'll get to. It was a ton of fun.
It's crazy that we have to do, like, best of, because I've been putting out so many of these faction spotlights.
Yeah.
Just today, like, 3 articles went out.
Right.
And if one of them was a faction spotlight, but, like, this week, 4 factions have come out. It's too fast.
It's a lot. Hopefully they leave a slice of the pie for us content creators by the time it's out.
This is like a media blitz to end all media blitz.
Right?
This is like, we will blitz you for 2 months. This is a world war here. Trench warfare media style.
We're going to give you an article on the sprue of the Terminator kit. Be interested.
Nobody asked for it.
Oh. But what we did enjoy was the faction focuses. So, Bridger, of the armies that have been revealed thus far, which do you find the most intriguing?
So this is a timely one. I chose Votan. It came out today.
Okay.
And you might be asking yourself, Bridger, why? You're not the dwarf player. Well, 1, I am. Shut up.
You were destined to be.
But 2, Votan was a very hard faction to balance, and I was curious to see where they would go with this army, given that they launched the book in 9th and then immediately changed almost everything about it.
Yeah. What's the do-over look like?
So, right, like we've all been thinking, how do they get Votan right? Well, first of all, there's just beautiful models, and they did a great job with that.
Yeah.
Still beautiful models. Hopefully now we'll see an actually like coherent army that you'll play. Like release Votan, the points were such that it felt like an army on the table, and then they got enough points nerfs where it really didn't feel like an army on the table anymore. It felt like a few land fortresses and guys. So they're showing beautiful army shots of this great army, and then they get into the faction rules. So judgment tokens, it's like, how do you fix judgment tokens? Because they were dumb. And then the way that they fixed them in 9th was to mostly remove everything they did. Also dumb.
Yeah.
So here, they were kind of like marker lights, and I saw some Tau players complaining. Don't complain, share the love. So if you have 1 judgment token on you, you're +1 to be hit.
Marker light.
If you have 2 judgment tokens on you, you're +1 to hit and +1 to be wounded. Ooh. They haven't shown us any other ways to interact with judgment tokens, but I'm sure there's strats about it.
Right, yeah.
And you pick 1 unit to start the game as like your grudging unit. And that unit starts with 2 grudge tokens.
Ooh, that's
cool. 2 judgment tokens.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be able to see them. You just pick a unit in your opponent's list, and it's been judged.
Like, hey, remember them from last time.
And we know every time that an enemy unit kills one of your units, they get a judgment token. So those are the ways that we know to put judgment tokens. We can assume that Carls will do some Carly thing. Yeah. But yeah, so that seems good. And then also, if we keep going, that thing that you picked at the start of the game that you hate the most, depending on when you kill it, you get extra command points.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is like, it's a fun little thing.
Little mini game.
I think this will be particularly good against some factions and almost entirely inconsequential against others.
Yeah.
But I like the way that they made judgment tokens do something. And as we keep going, you might be saying, +1 to hit and wound army-wide on an immediate, or like a super killy army from before, probably too much, right? They were hitting on 3s before.
I would say.
And
what?
You don't want them hitting on 2s. Well, that's fine, because they changed all their data sheets to be BS4.
Oh my god, let's take a look.
So if we keep scrolling down, there's just more. Here's a data sheet. Look, Hearthkin Warriors, BS4.
Oh!
They have a lot of weapons. Their weapons are largely unchanged.
Interesting.
Which I actually like.
Yeah.
Their weapons weren't too crazy before. Their weapons before were essentially take an Imperial weapon and add a strength and AP.
Not crazy.
Which, in some cases, was too far, and they pulled it back. The bolters are now just bolters. They thought,
no AP?
that was too much. Yeah, they're not even strength 5 anymore. They're 401. They just have normal bolters.
Normal bolters, like normal people. Cool.
Interesting, right? There is a lot on that sheet to talk about, but I'm not going to go over all of it. The medic doesn't res models anymore that we know of.
Right.
It was a strat. A lot of people are prematurely reading into this. It could still be a strat, guys. Like,
of course it could be a strat.
You could still get guys back.
Yeah.
But it does give a 6-up feel no pain now, so you don't ignore the first damage. You just have a 6-up feel no pain for the whole squad.
Oh, I like that better.
It's pretty cool.
The first damage is cool, but there's so much bookkeeping that ends up happening, and it's awkward. It's like either you trick your opponent because they forget about it, or you have to remind them, and it doesn't mean it matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't know. It's like it's a long data sheet. We can't
Yeah,
break
that's fair.
down everything.
I like the BS4 going to 3. Very Tau-like.
Land Fortress. Okay. Land Fortress.
T12.
Still centerpiece of the army. You're still going to see them in every single Votan list.
Yeah.
It is essentially a Land Raider with, better guns. With just, like, insanely good guns. I don't think it has the Assault Ram keyword. You don't care.
way.
You're playing Votan. You're here to shoot things.
Yeah.
The Magna Rail is 6 plus D6 damage. And its strength like
God.
100. Strength 14, 18, some stupid high number.
Oh, I love it.
I can't. The screen's too far away, but I have this pulled up on my phone.
Sure,
I want to
yeah.
get some of these
Are you
things
looking
right.
at specifically?
No, it's
The rail.
strength 18, Adrian.
18?
Strength 18, AP4, 6 plus D6 damage.
Oh my god.
And they were like, no, it's fine. It's BS4, right? Well, you get a +1 to hit for a judgment token,
And +1 to win for another one.
and +1 to win for a judgment token. But you're at strength 18. You don't care about +1 to win.
I mean, you do, because everything's high toughness.
It's heavy, which is not -1 to hit if you move. It's actually +1 to hit if you stand still.
That's right.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah.
of people forgot that because on most Imperial codexes, they were like, okay, well, we'll just make you 1 less BS for that weapon.
Right.
So it evens out. Not for Votan. No.
Well, but then, do we know if the pluses stack?
So we don't know if you can get +2, but if they're a -1, you can still be hitting on 3s.
Helpful regardless.
And you will be consistently hitting on 3s with this. Like,
yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
with a token or not, you can sit still
Yeah.
and hit on 3s. It's worth noting all the guns are great, and that the Magna Rail Rifle has devastating wounds. So 6s to wound go straight to mortals. You can deal 6 plus D6 mortals with this dumb boat. With 1 gun from this dumb boat.
I'm very curious to see if the mortal wounds get out of hand or not.
Willow is chiming in that the pluses don't stack. Techno confirmed it for him.
Okay, cool.
Right, so you probably can't hit on 2s. But I think
good.
you'll be pretty consistently hitting on 3s.
Yeah.
Judgment token or no, you could stand still. If they do have a
minuses.
minus,
Yeah.
then you could stand still and shoot with a judgment token.
That's nice.
I'm curious to see if the chosen guy still makes something a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Because that you can't. That's
Yeah.
GW. Don't do that.
No, I hope
please,
not.
Please don't.
I hope not.
But no, like legit, all the guns are great.
That's awesome. I like it. It should be the centerpiece of a Votan army.
I have mixed feelings. I think it's cool, but I don't want to see them all the time.
Yeah.
And I think you will see these all the time. Like, I think mechanized Votan is a cool concept, and I
Right.
want to see it.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to be every army's mechanized Votan. So we'll see. I think they shook it up a little bit. I'm curious to see how it plays on the table. And then if we keep going, they go on to conversion beamers, which they showed what the conversion keyword does.
Yeah.
Imperium also has sea beamers, so you will probably see some of this Imperial, but it's 4-ups to hit or crit when you're outside half range.
That's cool.
And they gave it sustained hits D3. So you get 1 shot with your big chonker gun, and if you're far away from the opponent, which is what sea beamers have always wanted to do, then you, instead of getting 1 hit, you get a lot of hits. I think it's
fun.
cool.
I love it.
Flat 3 damage.
Right? This is cool.
It's pretty dope.
Only AP1, but high damage. That's a very interesting profile.
I like it.
Yeah. It's going to make... you're going to have to play around it.
That was all I wanted to talk about for Votan.
Yeah.
This is definitely a less lethal army than we've seen Votan.
Yeah.
So they brought down the lethality, but we'll see within the tide pool, like how high or low are they relative to other 10th edition armies.
Exactly. Well, we'll have to see.
What did you pick, Adrian?
I picked Chaos Demons.
Diamonds.
Chaos Demons.
Matt Damons.
Now, the demons are looking quite saucy. As is tradition with 10th edition, it seems like they really streamlined it. Chaos Demons also a relatively new book, and they've kept much of the core conceit that we have come to expect them for. So let's dive on in and see what we have here. They also have beautiful models. They're
do?
lovely.
Turns out.
And
Not as new, though. Those models aren't as new.
no, actually, almost none of them are as new. Let's see. Can we blow this one up just a bit more, Mel? Thank y'all. So the Shadow of Chaos, this is basically a pseudo-simplified version of what we have right now. It's kind of determining, this whole concept of like, where's your deployment zone, where's the middle, where's your opponents, where can you deep strike, all that stuff. So they kind of lay that out in this new Shadow of Chaos verbiage,
Okay.
but basically the same concept. Let's take a look at the demonic manifestation. This I love. We're seeing the return of returning models to units built in and not having to rely on warp storm points. I don't even know if there's warp storm points in this one. So basically, instead, it used to be if you rolled a 1 on your leadership, you get models back.
Yep.
Now, if you just pass it,
Right.
you get models back.
Much better feeling rule.
Right.
It's much less spiky. It always felt stupid that chaos players had to play their whole game plan.
We'll play roll a 1.
Like a what?
Exactly.
What? Why was that a rule?
Right? So I love this. The healing is cute. It makes sense. But I'm really excited to be able to just constantly be like refreshing units with models. That's super exciting as a Demons player to be able to do like all this warp kind of stuff. So we've got that. And then we see, of course, we have the new Demonic Terror, basically making you a little bit worse at Battle Shock, and then having you take D3 mortal wounds, which is interesting because we're starting to see like Battle Shock already a big deal in the game. And personally, I think it could get out of hand very easily if you had an army that forced you to fail Battle Shock all the time. When you're Battle Shocked, you don't control objectives. You cannot receive stratagems.
Big deal.
It's huge. So they have to be careful.
Yeah.
So they basically say, okay, when you do fail it, it's going to be a bit harder, and when you do fail it, take D3 extra mortal wounds. So that felt pretty light-handed, and that feels like the right move. So that's that. Warp Rifts, this is basically the same as it is now. They're just kind of simplifying it.
You deep strike.
6-inch deep strike.
Yeah.
When you're in the shadow. And later on, we find out that characters like Be'lakor basically cast the shadow within 6 inches. So it's kind of like the low side that we have now,
cool.
which I love. You can have a small detachment of demons, which kind of helps answer a lot of like the whole "Are we going to have allies?" question. So that's cool. That's all that is. And this is on the thumbnail for today's episode because it's the thing I'm the most excited about for demons. Keepers of Secrets are so cool.
They are.
And they're one of the few demon units that don't really see a lot of play right now.
That's true.
They're fragile.
It's a bummer.
They don't really have strong feeling pains. But look at this. So we are
Toughness 10.
toughness 10, 4+ invuln,
Big.
and if you take the Aegis, which I think you will, 5+ feeling pain back on the table. Very durable unit.
good.
Still moving quite quickly. And when you look at this, you say, okay, well, they're going to be less lethal, right? It's almost the same profile because they have the extra claws. It's very, very strong. And this is one of the reasons I'm most excited about demons, is the Keeper of Secrets has its durability back.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
It's interesting to me to see that in 10th,
Yeah.
they say less lethal, but what they really mean is they're shifting lethality to certain sections where they feel this unit should be lethal and everything else shouldn't be as lethal as it was before. So it's not like everything kills everything. You end up with like giant monsters that do giant monster things, which is cool.
I think they really want you to bring a balanced force. Everything we're seeing is saying they want you to have a little bit of everything to deal with a little bit of everything else, you know?
Yeah.
So we could take a brief look at Be'lakor, because it is, of course, Be'lakor, the first prince. He's cool. He does a bunch of stuff. He is strong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not focusing on him because he's not good, but he does Be'lakor stuff, and it's going to
He has a lot of
change
rules.
the way your army works.
We can't go through all his rules.
Yeah.
It's too many.
He's Be'lakor.
Too many rules.
What do you want from us? And that's it. That's the main things I want to talk about.
Cool.
So exciting stuff. Of course, lots of other factions coming up to see. Sorry, Mel, we haven't seen anything about Space Wolf-like detachments.
Yet. They must be
We'll
coming,
see.
right?
They
They can't just get rid of all the sub-factions.
well, that's one of the things I'm really curious is they've shown us detachment rules. They haven't shown us like alternative detachment rules. We've seen like the Gladius detachment.
Right.
We haven't seen the
The AWU detachment.
Awu detachment. Yeah. And a
The
little
list
nervous.
building restriction is you have to AWU at the start of every
Like,
game.
it's not Space Wolves though. Could be any wolf.
Could be any
Space Marines.
Space Marines, they just really like wolves. And they're going to have like wolf priests. They're
Could be the Timber Wolves.
going to have wolfen.
I mean,
take
not
wolf
they're still
feedback.
wolves. Yeah. With that, let's dive on into some super chats. If you have questions, we're here while you're here.
Sounds good. Thank you, Steven. Hey, Titans. Spent today painting up a squad of 10 Reavers. With how much GW is pushing Battle Shock, I feel like they might be good in 10th. Thoughts?
hard to say, right? Like, we don't know what they do yet, but
Right.
traditionally, GW's taken the stance of bad things will become good and good things will become bad when they change editions.
Yeah. They skipped that for Reaver's last edition, but now they have 2 bad editions to
I
back them
think
up.
GW forgot that Reavers exist.
Well, I will say this too. One of their main abilities, grapple hooks, which flatten the battlefield.
Don't.
No,
don't.
I'm not talking about
Don't.
that. I'm not talking about shooting down. 9th edition started more 3-dimensionally than it ended.
Right.
They found all these problems with like height, and they flattened the editions by, frankly, by halfway through, a year through, everything was super flat.
Yeah.
And we are maybe getting away from that again. And so
Hopefully.
things like grapple, they got kind of extra short strawed here.
I think what happened to Reavers was 8th edition Phobos generally was good. And Phobos generally took the hit in 10th.
Yeah.
Or in 9th. And so Phobos generally can come back in 10th. And Reavers just got swept up with incursors and the Phobos Librarian. Like, they were just along for the ride
Yeah.
for the sins of infiltrators and eliminators.
Look, infiltrators were great. Everyone else, out. They're out.
Well, in 8th, eliminators were bonkers.
They were stupid good.
So it was infiltrators and eliminators that caused that they sinned for all of Phobos, and then Phobos just got put in the trash can for 9th.
I am here for Phobos. This is one of the detachments I hope we get, is a cool Phobos detachment.
They're cool.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Thanks, Steven.
Thanks so much, Steven. Thank you, Shay. Connolly.
Hey.
I'm new to starting 40k, and a big part of me likes the overthrow the tyranny vibe of the GSC, but in the universe, they feel like they have a very small footprint in the bigger happenings in the galaxy with other races like Eldar.
That's fair. I mean, that's the weird thing about them, is it's like definitely grassroots, but they overthrow entire worlds. They are the heralds of the Tyranids.
Yep.
They come from small beginnings and have huge planetary uprisings that happen. So here's the thing about Eldar. Here's the thing. If I could do a camera zoom right now, I
Dying
would.
race.
Dying race. I'm just saying. Look, they haven't shown a faction focus.
Oh.
Maybe there's no Eldar in 10th edition because
Why would you say
they're
that out
You
loud?
finally
heard it
killed
here
off.
first. They squatted Eldar. They've been saying they're dying race for 40 years.
Yep.
Now's the time. They're dead.
They've been trying to send us this message. It's pretty obvious. They were literally like dying race, and we're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, just saying. But yeah, GSC, they got a big impact for sure.
I think they're overlooked narratively because it's a subtle. It's like they're not a giant faction that you can point to on a map, right? You can't be like, this is the part of the galaxy where all the GSC are.
No.
Where you can do that with Imperium, you can do it with Eldar, you can do it with Necrons.
Yeah.
But GSC are just anywhere the Tyranids are going to attack. There's GSC there already.
Yeah,
That's like the thing that's cool about the faction.
gonna happen.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's one of, if not my favorite factions lore-wise. Like, just this amazing mix of like Lovecraftian horror, like spy movies. That's actually the 2 things.
Yep. Okay. Let's leave a
It's a
list
weird
there. I
combo.
see. I get it.
You know, rebellion stuff. You know, it's great. Action.
Look, sometimes you start a list and you don't know where it's going to take you.
Sometimes nowhere.
Sometimes.
But welcome, Shay. We're excited to have you at the dawning of a new age.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. And a follow-up from Shay. Also, as a follow-up, could GSC actually stand up in universe to other factions? Like, would Custodes, Eldar, or anything other than Guard actually be threatened by them?
Well,
I think you're missing the point of GSC.
yeah.
Like, they don't play conventional warfare. It's not like they're going to draw battle lines and be like, all right, we're going to send in our tanks here.
Right.
And we're going to have our Titans fight their Titans over here. That's not what they're about, right? They're about undermining and moving the front line. They're like paratroopers, essentially. They just create a new front line somewhere else. And they're like, well, we couldn't fight you on your front line,
Right.
so we made a new one and we can fight you here.
Yeah. I think they absolutely could. And I think they'd actually have an easier time against Eldar than Custodes. Funny enough, because they have this whole like pseudo shadow in the warp mind control-y thing that like can like dampen what the Eldar are good at. And like you said, they're just like entrenched everywhere. You know, the Eldar are on the planet. Well, the GSC are like, so you know in Dune when they pop up from the sand, but it's GSC in like mud or something. They're just like, "Rah!" You know. The Custodians, I think they can definitely give a tough time, but I think it's a bit tougher for sure. And I say tough time, I mean actually stand up to them. I'm gonna make a harder stance, 100%. There's only so many Custodians. Like you get enough cultist knives.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stories about GSC on Terra, and like
It's true.
Custodians are fighting them all the time. It's like that's a lot of what we've been doing.
It's a real problem.
It's just fighting GSC.
That's why they call them the Custodians. They got to clean up GSC
Clean
all
up
the
the
time.
trash. I like how you said they're trash.
I mean, you know, that's what I love them though. They're like beautiful trash.
You're offending
That's a quote.
whole sectors of the Warhammer community tonight.
I feel like Shay is on board though because they clearly are interested in GC, but also are clearly disappointed by them.
You know the back of a book where they have like attributed quotes to people?
Yeah.
I think the back of the GSC Codex should have that quote from you. They're beautiful trash.
They are. I love them. They're scum of the earth, but they're so lovely. I'm gonna stop.
They are in chat and they say thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks so
Anytime.
much,
Stay
Jay.
strong. Uprise.
Thank you. Big thanks to Fate Stay Dreamer.
Hey.
ATT just got here. What are your thoughts with heavy changes that Votan was previewed with today? Feels like the AP is still vibrant in the army, but with the army-wide reductions in BS weapon strength and RNG, it is an interesting approach in tuning them.
We will have to see what their characters do. Because stats-wise, you're right. They're still quite lethal. If you look at that stat line and you point their stat line at a lot of things are going to go away. Mm-hmm. They shoot a lot. That's what they're known for. They don't fight as much.
Yeah.
But the -1 ballistic skill is offset by judgment tokens.
Right?
So as you're killing these not as durable as they used to be Votan, they get bonuses to kill you back. We'll have to see. Like, the ability to hand out judgment tokens is going to be a big deal.
Yeah. Where does that happen? How often does it happen?
And the character abilities for being in units is going to be a big deal for this army.
Yeah. It feels so Votan have always been about picking a thing and hating that thing and killing that thing.
Yeah.
And in a way I don't like the BS is worse, but they also now have an army-wide ability to get +1 against one or just a small selection of targets. So I think in the way that the GW wants you to play Votan is more in line with that. Before it was like, oh, you got judgment tokens everywhere, you just throw them everywhere. No. If they reduce the number of units that receive them and really encourage you to shoot shoot at that same target, you're still hitting on the same BS you had in the previous edition.
Yep.
You know, it's just they're narrowing down and making you focus more rather than kind of having your cake and eating it too. So
the funny thing
fine.
is, I think they got Oath of Moment and judgment tokens backwards.
oh
I think
yeah,
Oath of Moment should be +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
right.
And judgment tokens should be rerolls. Because you kind of have to work to get judgment tokens, and you don't have to work to get Oath of Moment.
Yeah.
But there's an argument that you can only get 1 or 2 oaths, and you can get a bunch of judgment tokens. So I don't.
Comes back to wondering how often you can get them, right?
Right, and that's gonna be big. Like, what does a call do?
I bet a call like his squad counts as whatever. Like it's
Plus
probably,
one?
It's
It's
probably pick one and get a judgment token or something. Like only for your squad, or that squad has 2 judgment tokens.
So what he
Something
does
crazy like that.
today is pick an enemy, put a judgment token on it.
Right. I bet it's a buff just for his squad, and it either is count 1 or 2 judgment tokens on a target.
Ooh, count 2.
And 2 might be too good.
Count as 1 more.
Or 1 more maybe. 1 more would be more elegant, because then you still want to like line up like a 1-2.
And then it's not always +1 to hit. Sometimes it's +1 to win, which is interesting. Like his ability isn't just a universal +1 to hit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It could
that's
sometimes
boring.
be +1 to wound. We'll have to see.
We should have written the Votan rules.
G-dubs, we're not. Don't hire us.
They just have to write that first rule, and we can kind of just go for it.
We're busy. We don't want to be rules writers.
No, but we do want to judge your rules, right?
Ooh, we already do that. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Thanks,
wanna,
Fate.
like, do it to their face. I get it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Guyver007. Breaker, Earthworm Jim.
He was like a late stage parody of
What?
Earthworm Jim was making fun of all of the Mario clones. It was like an
Oh.
over the top. Do you know Earthworm Jim?
I feel like I'm picturing him.
So it's an earthworm
Yeah.
with like essentially large googly eyes on him.
Yeah, I think I.
And he has like stick arms and legs. And he runs around. I remember playing the game and
Jim.
thinking it was too violent for me at the age.
Right. Yep, this guy.
And
yep,
like
yep.
somewhat crass.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt naughty. I was like, oh, I'm playing Earthworm Jim and I'm 8. Right? Like I thought I was getting away with something.
right. Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
But he's the next generation. He was making fun of the Sonics of the world.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Not So Average Joe. My Age of Darkness box is almost done. The list is Dante, Sanguinary Priest, Tech Marine, a Spartan, 10 Terminators, Contemptor Dread, and 4 Tactical Marines. Dumb list, but should be lots of fun.
I love it.
That's a heresy box, isn't it?
Heck yeah, it is. I love this.
Are you playing heresy, bro? You playing heresy?
Do they have Dante?
No.
Or
Maybe?
is it young Dante?
Young
Maybe
Dante.
they do. They don't play heresy.
Hot Dante.
Dante's
He's
hot in all
already hot.
timelines.
But it's like old hot Dante versus young hot Dante.
That's true. Different kind of hotness.
Yeah.
That's true. Regardless, it seems it's super cool. It's a great box.
Yeah.
It's a great box. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Just think about that red.
Just picturing.
Just daydreaming about that red.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blackbird. Can't watch live, but I was excited to see my Plasma Inceptors in the intro video. Yes. I hope they don't all die to overcharge versus a single Ripper Swarm or something too embarrassing. Go Titan Watch.
They were legendary.
They were.
Their Overwatch was unbelievable.
Oh my god, that was like one of the best Overwatches I've ever seen.
It was great.
Oh my god.
And the funny thing is, Chapter Masters didn't even do that much. Like,
No, you just
it
rolled the
was just
sixes.
sixes.
Just
They were great.
yeah,
Hey.
straight out of the box.
You also did a great job on the jump packs and the cool, the plasma effects.
Beautiful.
Great looking models. And the helmets, also cool.
Right. It's one of those things I was
cool.
talking about them the other day. Like it's you like hear the concept and you're like, that sounds really hard to implement and
Right.
make it look cohesive. And Blackbird really did a great job of that.
And it still looks like 40k. Like you could
Right, yeah,
like take
yeah.
samurai models. Like you could take a samurai model and put guns in his hands, and it doesn't look like 40k.
Yeah.
But somehow he just kept the cohesive 40k aesthetic while still having samurais on floating glowing clouds shooting plasma guns, right? Like I don't know how he did it.
And that's what we do it for.
Did a great job.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Blackbeard. Thank you, Brad Lejare.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's go finally. I'm not too late for a game. Always missing them. So hyped for 10th edition. And the new NIDS. Go NIDS, claim that biomass.
Oh, we
Yeah. Yeah, he munched on Space Marines today.
delicioso. It was fun, even though it wasn't like traditional rules. It was nice playing the NIDS. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, take that, John. Gonna eat you,
Yeah, take that, John.
biomass. Yeah, super excited for 10th edition. It's gonna be awesome. And then the NIDS for that looks so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
The new the blue monster.
The blue though.
He looks dope.
Best model in the box, hands down.
Thanks so much, Brad. Thank you, Willow. Per the brand, I'm okay with the sisters rules. Mostly fair changes. Afraid of miracle dice generation and limited uses for low rolls at the moment.
I felt like they were gonna get a lot of miracle dice.
Maybe that's what she means.
I think potentially what Willow means is when you have the low numbers on them.
Yeah, like what do you do with them?
Yeah, what do you do with like a 1 or 2?
Yeah. It's fair. I'm also curious. So the Triumph of St. Catherine, it's funny because Jess and I were talking. We're like, oh, Sisters Think tomorrow. Sorry, I talked to Jesse too. We're like, hopefully tomorrow they show Triumph of St. Catherine. And then they did.
They did.
And it looks, I would say good, not great. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, this is amazing. But it looks like it's something that you could build a force around. And it's a bit more in the spirit of what it used to do in 7th or 8th edition. So here's hoping.
It looks like the kind of thing that will dominate narrative games. Like it needs to stay out of narrative games because it's just going to ruin them. Yeah. But when you put it in a competitive game, you're like, well, don't I just shoot it? Like what? I don't understand. I think I shoot it and it dies.
Yeah, that's been part of the problem.
Like we haven't seen the strats, we haven't seen anything else. Like maybe there's a way to protect it, or deep strike it, or character block it. Like
Right.
we don't know enough to judge early, but I look at that and I'm like, don't I just shoot it with like 3 melta guns and it dies?
So traditionally, the way you play St. Catherine is you don't be visible.
Right.
It's this like kind of center line that you put behind your ruin because it can be obscurable even though it has 18 wounds.
Right.
Or at least, currently.
Right.
I don't remember what the new one is. And then you just have this 6-inch aura of like double miracles, and the +1 to hit is not that amazing. That's kind of like later on because you have to move up. But I could see it performing a similar role, right? Where it's generating miracles, it's letting your meltas. Because here's the thing: we saw the new multi-melta, and again, things feel less lethal. I'll say it. Not crazy high strength. So when you do get your damage through, you're going to want to use those miracle dice, and you will be able to. And so being able to like double miracle dice on a unit with her is important. I'm curious to see if the Dialogus still does the exact same thing, like that same ability. That was one of the biggest things that...
That's killer. When you can have like a 50-point model that does the same thing as your 250-point centerpiece.
Exactly. That's my concern.
It's tough.
It's super cool. Thanks, Willow.
Thanks, Willow. Thank you, Ogre Barbarian. Hey, Titans. I was wondering if y'all could share a list of all of the Titan Watch models you all have. Was wanting to add my own model and how to ship.
My goodness. Okay, so let me see this. I want to get, as I said, all of them on the table. I want to get them more commonly in the rotation. Part of that requires organizing them. So we're going to organize them, and we can make a catalog of basically what we have. So like Ithrain is actually painting up some infiltrators because they'd asked, what do we need? And I was like, we really need infiltrators because we have these eliminators, but we can't actually play the Spectres without that. So there's things like that.
Ithrain keeps painting stuff for us.
That's the thing.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ithrain, if you're there, if you're out there in the world, I appreciate you as a person, as a painter. So kind.
We appreciate you. So...
What do we need?
What's that?
What do we need?
Off the top of my head, and before the edition starts, I don't know. But Ogre Barbarian, go ahead and message me on Discord, and I'll help you out also with the shipping and stuff. But frankly, I think we're going to know soon with the new edition, like what we need to like round it out. I could say things that we need in the current edition, we have no idea,
That's a good point.
So.
At one point, I had cataloged all of the Titan Watch, their stories, and
Do you remember the
so we still have that.
stories they came with?
Yeah.
That was so cool.
We have all the papers, the little like transmission messages.
That was cool. Good times.
Thank you so much, Ogre Barbarian. Thank you, Christopher Bangsill. Big fan since your initial 9th edition stream. What parts did you all use to make your kit bashed Death Guard demon prints? Which one? Please pay more Death Guard.
We should play more Death Guard.
Which
one?
mouth hands or
Mouth hands or hands mouths? Actually, it's funny.
the tree guy?
He literally does have mouths on his hands.
Oh, he does.
He's like got the little Sylvaneth hands.
Mouth hands or hand mouths.
Nightmares.
All right, I'll do a brief synopsis of both. Mouth hands is the belly of a Turvagon. We don't have a Turvagon, we have the belly. With actually just a bunch of like hot glue and green stuff and foil as the body, and then a bunch of zombie hands from the old edition, old book. Tyranid arms.
Those are the hands in the mouth. Those are the mouth hands.
The mouth itself is green stuff and little shaved plastic card teeth. And then little drone wings sometimes when he has fly keyword. So that's him. The other guy is Demon Prince Torso, and his like calves are I can't look at Mel. Sylvaneth bits.
Yeah, at some
think
point to
Karnoth-
make these, you must take someone's pride and joy, smash it on the ground, and use
No,
it.
they were extra ones.
Like, you surgically snip it. You don't
No,
have
he
to
just
extra
never
parts.
built my models properly.
No,
and just took all the heads.
The heads are different. That's different. Getting hot in here. The head is actually a orc war boss head from Black Reach.
That's a cool.
But I took his big jaw and then I made a big green stuff head to match, top of the half of the head. Tree Lord hands.
Oh yeah, I wonder where those came from.
Because that's
Probably
for
a tree lord if I had to guess.
no.
It would be so nice if I could fix my tree lord hands
Not
that are
every
broken.
tree lord has a claw. And fun fact, you actually need 2 tree lord kits. And then I took because they're both right hands, take the other right hand, you have to chop it up and put it in the other hand. But if you have two Tree Lord kits to steal from, it's fine.
See what I do when I have two right hands and I need a left hand? Is I just turn one of them around and you just it's just backwards.
You just go for
You
it.
just have two right hands now. What are you going to do?
There are more models than I'd like to admit that have two left hands because of Bridger.
It's tough, you know, in this world out here.
There was like a
Multiple
recent one too, or a Marvel model or
It was
something.
the Scouts. You looked at the Scouts. They
Scouts.
all have two right hands.
Poor John.
He didn't care.
He did not care.
He played them like twice.
Oh, thank you, Christopher.
Thank you so much. And now the next 3 are from Fate's Day. So
Oh, hello, Face.
thank you, Fate's Day Dreamer. Triumph is added to a squad is amazing.
Is it?
Whoa.
That doesn't go in squad, does it? That doesn't make any sense. It's enormous.
Fate Weaver, is this Fate's Day Weaver and Fate Weaver? Triumph has leader keyword so can be attached to a unit of sisters to give her a blade of wounds. Tell Adrian. I did Fate Weaver.
No way. We're both pulling it up. I mean, 2 people have said that, so.
I mean, okay.
2 people might be the
That's
same
true.
person though.
Okay. Depending on what squads it can go in, it's not really helpful.
I'm less worried about the durability than you are, for the reasons that I said.
You just put it behind a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obscuring still works.
Yeah.
Epic hero. Leader.
I can't picture a squad I would actually want it in. Unless you put it in the sisters with the shield and the spear.
Right, the Sacrosanct.
Sacrosanct. Yeah, I would put her in that squad and she would live forever.
It's weird because
Forever.
all their abilities are auras.
Right.
So the whole squad. Are you guys sure they can join a squad? Is it all you need is leader keyword?
Yeah. And she's not a lone, what do they call it? Lone?
Lone operative?
Yeah, some.
Yeah, they don't have that. They have epic hero. They have their own name as a keyword.
That's good. That's for a strat. That's what that means.
I will say, though, they are missing something that they have currently, which is even though they have 18 wounds, they're still obscurable.
You mean not obscurable? Or they don't have that rule. You don't see that rule.
They don't have that rule that gives them obscurable.
So they might just get shot.
They might just get shot,
But you could put them in a squad of Sacrosancts, maybe.
which you might have to. I mean, it is...
And Willow says that's very cool looking, so.
With Sacrosancts? That would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be sick.
I think we'll have to
Interesting.
see. It's too early to judge.
Yeah.
Because there's so much about the edition. Like, this is a very divisive model. This is a model where, like, it'll be
Right.
great. It might be terrible.
Yeah.
It defines play styles.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see, like, how it works in the game.
It's interesting they picked this model show, because you know how it's always like, we get this much of, like, the new edition, and everyone's like, what about knights? And it's like, well, let's not talk about the one exception. And GW's like, here's sisters and the one exception, or the one weird rule.
We
They're
also
like,
showed Morven, and she is much more reasonable, in my opinion.
she is, but she's still a boss.
I think
And
she
having
is
the
now
more-
where she should be.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I think these are
Are
the
you gonna be
stats that
okay?
suit. I might be okay. I might not have to hate Sisters in 10th. I might think Sisters are great in 10th.
Only if they're bad.
No, I want them to be normal. I want them to be within the realm of a reasonable army. And every time I played against them, they were like, what do you do? I do it better. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
I have a unit that does it like 5 times better.
Oh,
and also, it's just a random unit, and I just make it do that.
No,
It drove me crazy.
I'm sorry, you have to roll your charges?
Right? It's like, oh, you have to roll dice? Oh, that must suck. Having to roll dice. Yeah, my cool character is actually just better than your cool
Right.
character. Sorry, dude. Oh, you're all about mechs? I have cooler mechs.
I'm super curious to see the penitent engines, the mortifiers, and of
Well,
course.
I'm going to read the rest of these super chats from Fate's Day because they're all about sisters as well.
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, and this is your interface broke. I'll fix it, but I'm going to read all of Fate's
It,
Days.
it does.
If
yeah.
battle sister squads are 20 still, she will have a 20 blade of wounds or 10-man sacrosanct. I'm hype. Yeah. Also, you are obscurable unless you have the 2-ring keyword.
What?
Yes.
2 ring?
That's what it says.
Like,
Twaring? Towering?
Towering.
Towering.
Oh, interesting. I actually didn't know that. Oh.
Interesting.
Look, we're learning from chat
We
today.
are learning.
Yeah, we're ready.
I wouldn't even put her in 20 Sisters.
No, because at that point you're spending so much.
Well, it's not even about the points to me. It's like, what is 20 Sisters doing for you?
Right.
You will always be seen. You're 20 Sisters. You can't hide that.
What does lethal hits do?
Don't ask me these things. All of the blank blanks,
I feel like
something hits something.
you're my rock bridger. I need you to know these things.
All these dumb, look, I
Devastating-
like keywords. 6s to blank do blank
Okay.
is already generic and boring to me, and it's every rule. Every rule is 6s to something do something.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, we're not playing Dungeons and
Okay.
Dragons here. I don't need crits everywhere.
Oh, she gives it.
That's my hot take.
She's plus
on
1
tenth
attacks
edition.
to rapid fire. I'm just thinking like the sisters will get plus 1 attack for the rapid fire, which is cute.
Okay.
Sorry, the battle sisters.
Right.
And then, but then on the other hand, she gives lethal hits to melee, so that would be Sacrosanct. Now these are both auras, but realistically, the unit she's with, you want to benefit,
Is it auto wound? I think lethal is auto wound. 6s to hit auto
which is
wound.
like not great. That's not good.
Well, if you put that on like flagellants, if you just put it on something that has a ton of attacks at low strength, auto winning on 6s could be good.
But traditionally, flagellants have like decent strength already.
Maybe they'll make sisters combat units have a reasonable strength,
What's a reasonable strength?
not 7.
Who has 7?
The crazy
The Repentia?
Repentia get up to strength 7.
First of
And you
all-
look at that model and you're like,
Their strength 6.
but they go up to 7 in Bloody Rose.
No,
How are they getting to strength 7?
I don't know. Jesse? They get plus 1 wound, which is better. Much better.
It's just so stupid. You look at the model and you're like, oh, a strength 3 human. Cool. What? You wound everything on 2s? Okay. Great. Great.
Yeah.
Great design.
They're pretty great. They better not be. They dominated this. They have dominated this book actually since
Since it
it
came
came
out.
out.
Yeah.
Since the new models.
Yeah.
So
Well, thanks so much, Fate's Day. A couple more have come in. Thank you, Gutterman.
What's up?
You know, we are all still waiting for the Horse Heresy game on stream. Curse is getting mighty impatient with you.
So at the Maelstrom Mixer, several people offered to teach me horse heresy.
yeah, I had a good chat with the horse heroes, and so did Mel. We were actually talking about
The models are so cool.
they were willing to lend the models, beautiful models, from local players. So that helps a lot. That helps a lot because that's one of the biggest barriers. Mm-hmm. One of the other biggest barriers is still learning the game.
So the
And playing it well.
the Omega decks or something. There's apparently a compiled list of rules that's in an order that's not dumb.
Oh, I've heard of such tome.
It's the Holy Tome. We must go quest for this Holy Tome, the Omega decks.
That's the way that people talk about it.
I'm not gonna make any promises. I keep making promises I can't
probably
follow
wise.
through on.
I will say we want to,
We do.
but we'll not make any promises.
As much as it seems like we never make any progress on it, I really do want to play Horus Heresy. Like, very badly, I want to play it. I want to play Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I want to play Blood Bowl. All I ever really want to do these days is play Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like, there's so many games, and I want to play them all.
Yeah.
Would you say that we are closer to playing Horus Heresy today than we were last Friday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
agree.
Yes, because we met those people who
Yes.
checked off a box for us. And we're great people. I don't want it to make it seem like that's like very cool people, very fun to chat with. Their games were cool. And also, they offered to help us in a great way, which could help us get to. I'm just going to take my foot out of my mouth.
Thank you so much, Durgrim Bloodbeard. Buenos noches, Titans. I don't play World Eaters, but seeing as how their faction focuses tomorrow, what are some of your wish list items from them?
Ooh.
Shooting.
Yeah.
Any shooting at all.
Any shooting at all.
I think we should be done with this idea of one-directional mono. Like, I'm a one. We need not to have
But they
one-dimensional.
do it so
armies.
well. They're
They
so good at
did
it.
great at it in 9th.
Yeah.
They did the impossible. Do you want lightning to strike twice, or do you want a book that's probably going to be more reasonable no matter what?
Feels like they gave us a 10th edition book, so
Kind of.
job's done. Saying, just turn it in. Just plagiarize yourself.
Just make
Where
skull
was
cannons.
that from?
Warcraft.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, I was
Well,
like,
it's from
oh,
Warcraft and then
that
WoW.
touched something inside.
Yeah, in Warcraft, you would select a peon.
Yeah.
He would build the thing, and when he was done, job's done, job's done. Just make a skull cannon and make it somewhat good, and then the rest of the World Eaters Codex from 9th is fine.
I don't know what I want. I'm very happy with where they are right now, so I guess I just hope they preserve that, you know? Yeah,
They are cool. I had a great time playing them.
they're so cool.
They're really fun.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Christopher. Papa Nurgle bless this stream.
Oh,
All the sevens.
So
all
many
the different
sevens.
70 ways.
blessings be upon you, brother.
7. And last one for the night. Thank you, Siege Roots. Am I wrong? Is saying you really want to dump bad miracle dice on battle sister units for saves to kill models, use the cherub and buff the unit? What did I just read?
Saves to kill models, use the cherub, and buff the unit. Yes. So I mean, it's not super different than what it is. Basically, they showed a detachment which is like not martyred lady, not martyred lady detachment, where it's like if you're wounded, +1 to hit. If you're below half, +1 to wound. And you
Handing
can
out such powerful buffs. Why does every army have like buffs that we
Right.
dreamt of in 8th edition?
I know. I mean, being below half to get +1 to wound is like a pretty dire situation.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they also showed the strat. Remember that stupid sister strat to shoot on a 4+ when you die? Well, how about I tell you it's
remember.
automatic now?
Oh god.
The strat is just like,
Stop.
oh, you shot at us? Time to die.
Make it stop.
What?
I thought for sure that you would spend bad miracle dice on strats. Like there will be some strat that just spends miracle dice, or a secondary that spends miracle dice. Because you're right, there should be something to spend bad dice on.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be kill your own models. That's never the answer. An army ability that forces you to kill your own models when it's not like corn or something, it just feels wrong.
Yes, the old, let me overheat my plasma pistol, use a 1 on a miracle dice to then trigger +1 to hit.
So stupid.
Love it.
Guard commissars should also be allowed to kill your own models for benefits, but like sparingly. You don't want people intentionally killing their own models. It's dumb. That's what I have to say about that.
Well, that takes us to the end of the night.
With that, it's been a lovely chat.
Yeah.
One might say a good talk. A lot of stuff coming up on the channel, of course. Tomorrow, if you're a member, you have a lovely video to look forward to. We're going to take you behind the making of an average episode. Everything from concept to taking clips to some fun little pre-game deployment. In this case, Bridger and John. It was pretty hilarious.
It was a struggle.
It was definitely a struggle. And Saturday, Mel and I are leaving you in the good hands of Bridger, John, and Lindsay, where we're going to be playing World Eaters versus brand new Eldari models from John. Yes, he does have more. It's going to be fun. And of course, Sunday, join us for a very special Mother's Day episode of Marvel Crisis Protocol with Bridger and John.
And we're doing a doubleheader the following Sunday. We normally only do every other weekend, but because the weekend
so
after that is
excited.
Bay Area Open, we're doing a 2 weeks in a row. 2 Sundays in a row. Look, if you like Marvel, now's the time to watch our content.
Absolutely. With that, thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.
Bye.